if you want to use Excel to do the same thing that we just did with our calculators, and again, when you guys are taking quizzes and tests, I don't care. You can use either one. Right? Your steps are still going to be pretty much the same. So if we want to find the line of best fit, we're going to enter our data first. So let's use the data that we just used. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then the corresponding y's were 20, 13, 11, 8, and 7. Okay, so we're going to enter our data. You don't even really need to label it. If you want to label it to help you organize your information, you can. But you don't even need to label x and y. You just need two columns, one for your x's, one for your y's. Okay, after you enter your data, you're going to highlight that data. You're just going to drag a box around it. And you're going to go up to Insert, and you're going to insert a chart. The chart is going to be this scatter chart. Okay, once you hit Scatter Chart, you just pick the picture that doesn't connect to any of the points. It just shows your points. So this allows us to find our scatter plot for this information. So if I move this out of the way here. All right, so what I've done here is I did the first thing, the finding a scatter plot for the given data. Okay, once I have this chart entered, what I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click on a data point, and I'm going to click on the Add Trendline button. And once I add Trendline, here you can choose the type. It defaults to linear equation, and it gives you kind of an image. When you look at your points, does it look like these points fall in a relatively straight line? If they do, you can choose linear, or again, you can choose one of the other types of regression types. Okay, but we're going to come down here and we're going to say Display Equation on Chart. Okay, that's going to give us our line of best fit. And then when we close it, we see right here, here is our line of best fit, negative 3.1x plus 21.1. If we compare that to what we got here, negative 3.1x plus 21.1, we got the same thing regardless of which way we did it. Right? If there's two other things that you might need to do with this information, you might need to find the correlation coefficient. And so if you want to find the correlation coefficient, what you can do is you can click on an empty cell, and this is just a function. Right? It's a function that's predefined on Excel. And so what you can then do is choose this Insert Function button right here. And I'm just going to hit this drop down. The drop down is going to allow me to find some different functions here. So I'm going to choose More Functions. And then in the search here, we're just going to type correlation. And what you're going to do is you see all the different sets or types of correlation functions that are built in. Just choose the one that says Correl. Okay. And when you do, it's going to ask you basically to identify your x's and y, the range of x's and the range of y. So array 1 is just going to, if we highlight the range of our x's, click on array 2, we highlight the range of our y's. And now when you hit OK, it tells you what that correlation coefficient is. So again, when we compare that negative 0.94858, compare it to what we found here, negative 9 or negative 0.948 or 859 or whatever it was, rounds up to 0.949. So we get the exact same correlation as well. And then the final thing that you might need to do is you might need to evaluate this. So again, if we wanted to estimate what would it be when x is 2.5, what we could do in this case is if you just highlight this equation, just highlight the equation that you have just from the equals. You don't need the y equals part, or you don't need the y part. Just highlight the equation part. Again, place it in an empty cell. Paste it. And then just manually replace the x with what you want it to be evaluated for. So we wanted to evaluate when x is 2.5. So if I just delete my x, replace it with a times, so the asterisk for times, 2.5, and then hit enter, it gives me my answer 13.35. You do need to make sure there's no spaces or anything. The equal needs to be the very first symbol so that it recognizes that you're entering a calculation or function. Okay. Again, just hit enter and you have your evaluated answer as well.